I've been the supervisor of the Natai fish market for 5 years now. For nearly a year, my market has been a big success. My staff and I work together as a team, supplying the best quality fish for the local and overseas market. The reputation of my shop is really good. Customers come back time after time to buy fish here. It's a real success story, you know, but it wasn't always like this. Only a year ago, my fish market looked like this. I'm afraid my staff and I really didn't understand what quality and hygiene were. We used to leave fresh fish on the floor without ice before we got around to processing them. Sometimes the fish became damaged, and it definitely created safety problems. Fish guts and waste materials were left side by side with fillets on the counters. At that time, we didn't know that these unwashed, slimy fish with their high bacterial content were helping to cause contamination. And the fish waste is to attract flies which got in through the open doors of the plant. And so all these things, the bacteria and enzymes from the fish guts, the slime and the flies, contaminated our fillets. We used to process all the different species of fish together. Quite often, we even got them mixed up. We never used ice, so the quality of the fish deteriorated very fast. This was because warm temperatures in a plant help bacteria multiply and enzymes to become more destructive. And because the temperature inside my market was so hot, my workers were uncomfortable, and sometimes they became sleepy and careless. And this increased the number of minor accidents we had. I have to admit that the staff was so slow in the processing operation because of a lack of supervision and discipline on my part. I never worried about their frequent breaks, even though they used to just leave the fish out, allowing them to get warmer by the minute. Most of my workers smoked cigarettes around the fish, and they were really careless where they left their ashes and cigarette ends. The walls of the processing area were usually pretty dirty. Now I know that this added to the general poor hygiene of the processing plant. We never used to wash the knives during the processing operation either, and that only ensured that bacteria and contamination could spread between the fish. We never used cutting boards either, which caused the knives to become blunt more easily when used on the metal counter. When the fishermen used to bring in fish, we never used to assess them for quality or grade them by the species or size. Instead, we just weighed them, then put them into the chill store without adding ice. None of my staff knew how to use the chill store properly. The door was usually left open, which let the cold air out, raising the temperature inside. And we never kept any record of what went in or out of the store. We also never labeled the fish as to when they were put into the chill store. Fish boxes were just put into the nearest available space. And this often blocked access to the boxes already in the back of the room. Sometimes fish stayed in the chill store until they spoiled and had to be thrown out. Because of these bad conditions, my customers sometimes got really upset with the fish we sold them. The quality of the fish was so poor that I was having more and more trouble selling my fish, and I was losing customers. And because my customers weren't satisfied, business became worse and worse. The market's reputation became very bad. I had more bills and debts than I had money coming in. The market was really headed for trouble, and man, I knew I needed help.
fish quality.
For me,
And what you do...
help came in the form of a workshop on fish handling and marketing. I learned the importance of chilling fish, the role of hygiene, and the critical need for processing the fish quickly.
Now when we get down to medium grade...
They also showed me how to assess fish quality and told me why this was so important to run my market efficiently.
The eyes start to sink fish. Now we can feel...
The instructor also showed us design features which made it easier to keep a processing plant clean and safe. He showed us things like easy to clean walls,
be easily cleaned. These are PVC insulated panels, but they can be tiles or a high quality paint. If you look down now towards the floor, we see the junction between the floor and the wall is curved, and this helps a lot in cleaning too. There's no sharp edge where dirt can accumulate. Drainage is essential.
proper drainage.
Floors are designed to slope towards the drain so that washdown water and wastewater can get into the drain properly. The drain is an open type drain with a grid covering. The grid can then be removed and a brush can be put into the drain to sweep it away properly.
Proper lighting.
Good lighting is important. It creates a nice, good atmosphere for safe working by the employees. And it helps show up dust and dirt.
Good ventilation and safe electrical outlet.
Because so much water is being used around a processing plant, all electrical sockets should be off the ground for safety reasons.
After I returned from the workshop, I really looked at my processing plant with new eyes. I saw what I had to do, and I knew just how to do it. I told my staff that big changes were going to be made. The plant would have to be cleaned every day. Special uniforms would be worn at all times. Smoking would no longer be allowed inside the plant. Fish would have to be kept on ice at all times. Now with the new changes, fish are sorted immediately after they come into the plant. We then grade them for quality and freshness. Then we weigh them. We make careful records of the grades, the weights, and the species of the fish. Straight away, the fish are carefully packed in ice. We pack them so that each fish is completely surrounded by a good layer of chip ice. The fish are then brought into the chill store. Before they are stored though, I label them with their species and the date. I keep careful notes of the stock going into the chill store in my record book. Inside the chill store, the trays of fish are all carefully stacked. This allows for easy access. All the fish are packed in ice and the trays are labeled. And they never leave the door of the chill store open now. Well, I'm pretty proud of my operation now. My team of workers process the fish quickly and efficiently. After every fish is filleted, a cutting board and knife are given a quick clean. As soon as the fillets are ready to go into the chill store, they are first packed on a plastic sheet over a layer of ice. Then they are quickly put into the chill store. After every day's work, the plant is thoroughly cleaned with detergent and plenty of water. Every day, all the fish waste is taken away. Business is really good now. I try to keep my customers very happy. And happy customers mean a steady income. And that makes me happy.